diving deep where secrets reside. Door and Tyson in the booth, Mike's your guide. From the haunted arcade where shadows linger, today's episode, Sky's strange finger, fifth time, sixth one. Nuremberg sky, lights and shapes, what and why. Welcome to the FullGrownPizza podcast. Conspiracies brew, legends outlast, cryptids and mysteries, journeys so vast. Today we unveil the Nuremberg blast. So gather round, let stories ignite, through eerie and strange, we'll shed some light. This is the podcast, taking its flight, revealing the secrets of the celestial side.
All right, welcome to the FullGrownPizza podcast. This is episode 14. We're going to be talking about the UFO battle of 1561, and Mike is going to be guiding us on this journey. So buckle up and make sure to hit the like, follow, subscribe button, notification bell, all that fun stuff before we get going, so you know when we go live next. And all right, Mike, do you want to take us away?
Sure. Before we get into the subject for today, though, did you guys see that recent article they talked about? Harvard did some kind of analysis and said that aliens were living among us. And did you guys look at that article?
I saw that, so I didn't actually look at the article. I saw a video online just kind of talking about it, but I didn't look at the article itself. What? Tell us about it, in case anybody.
Well, it's kind of I'm sure you're used to this, but the headline is all mostly clickbait, because what the article is about is that, from what I read, I mean, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, so I could be wrong, but they did they said with all the recent UAP sightings and UFO sightings, they did a bunch of hypotheses about what could be causing that. And the hypothesis they came up with is that aliens could be living with us.
Yeah. And
they could be living inside the Earth, like kind of like the Green Children of Ireland that we did before.
Mm-hmm.
How they said that they were living in caves inside the Earth, like the Hollow Earth theory.
Yeah, like the Hollow Earth. Yeah.
So that was their main hypothesis, but they had a bunch of hypotheses, like they could be visitors from another place, they could be interdimensional, and it goes into the whole thing. But it seems mostly like it's just clickbait saying that Harvard says that there's aliens living among us.
That's kind of what I got from it, because like the thing that I kept seeing online and the stories about it and the articles and stuff, it was like Harvard study shows that there's alien life or whatever. But then like when I watched the video about it and they were kind of going through the article and stuff, I was like, where's the study? Like, there's no study. This is just people saying
they did write a long paper about it, but it's all hypothesis.
Yeah, but it's just a hypothesis. It's not like they actually studied something. It's them just saying, hey, here's some theories about what could possibly happen.
I mean, we've been hypothesizing about.
We're doing the same thing. Yeah, like we might as well.
Did the last episode.
I know.
Men in Black are the alien police.
We should be titling our episode "Study," like study, because I mean that's essentially what's going on.
Somebody needs to walk to Harvard and then say we went to Harvard, and then we can.
Exactly. I know. I was just like, what the heck. Or we could say like, wait, I think we all went to college, right? At least we went to
college,
it. Yeah, so we could all say college students study of this. Like, I don't know. We could do something like that, but it just that kind of like made me. I was like, what is this? This is ridiculous. It felt like a clickbaity thing, and really it was just like an amalgamation of like, there's this theory and there's this theory and there's this.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of theories.
What college did you go to? Like, art
Yeah,
school.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. No, but like it makes me feel good because we're essentially up on par with Harvard researchers. So if you get anything from this podcast, just know that we are essentially at the same level as Harvard researchers now. So
Our tinfoil
Just so
hat.
we don't use any facts or anything doesn't mean anything. So.
yeah, no. Don't.
It's all hypothesis.
Facts
so.
don't matter. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
all about the
don't ban us on
hypotheses.
TikToks.
Exactly. Yeah.
Theoretically.
Yeah.
As long
So
as you say theoretically first, you can say anything you want. So
there you
Yeah.
go. I'm gonna go ahead and start the podcast episode by saying theoretically. Go ahead. Continue on.
Welcome to the Pizza Podcast, theoretically.
So this isn't a theory; it's an actual fact. But back in
crap.
1561, there was an actual UFO battle over Germany that everybody saw. There's even a very famous woodcut carving of it. That what they did in like the newspapers back in the day, they'd make a big woodcut and then they print it,
Yeah.
And this happened on the 14th of April, right around dawn. So everybody was getting up. They come out of their houses and they see a bunch of UFOs essentially coming out of the sun. So, I mean, it's kind of going to jump out at you because first thing you do back in that day is probably look at the sun, see what kind of weather you got.
Could you imagine waking up and like seeing the sun like spewing out all these weird things or whatever? Like, oh my god!
I know this is like way before like
In
hot air
1561
balloons.
too. Like,
There's nothing in the sky except for birds, So you're like,
yeah.
what is that? And I'm gonna show you the picture. I'll bring up the picture real quick.
Okay.
So.
We're waiting for the picture.
Okay.
So you see the picture here.
Yeah,
so you see the sun there, and they got a bunch of different UFOs, and then they got like the cigar-shaped UFOs that everybody talks about nowadays,
Uh-huh.
and then they got like the big triangle-shaped UFO. So these kind of like motherships, and if you look at it from this way, it looks like there's balls like our cannonballs flying against, but if you think about it, UFOs seen from the bottom look like cannonballs, kind of, if they're
Right. I mean, if you're
shaped.
looking at it above you, then it's gonna be just like a circle, right? Like a disc.
Yeah,
So
they could all be discs. They look like cannonballs, but they could all be discs, for this.
Yeah.
Viewpoint.
well, and then
I
you
like
also
the sun in this picture.
the
the
sun. I
middle.
love the
Like,
face.
This shit again.
The sun's like, God damn it, you guys! Like,
Yeah.
you just had to do it today on a freaking Tuesday. Come on. No,
Oh,
but
it's
like,
interesting that they have like a war. You see like these lasers shooting. They
yeah,
said
like
they're
what's
like
all that? Like,
thistles of grass. That's what they described them at. But they sound like lasers, kind of. But
That is
Yeah.
a 1500s artist trying to figure out what the fuck they
yeah,
just saw.
the artist is like, what?
yeah,
How do I draw this? Is what that like? I know,
Yeah.
but like that's
They
one
have,
of the
like,
things.
jacks in the sky.
That's what I wanted to point out though, is I think it's interesting because thinking back to like, this is a 1560s artist trying to depict what he saw, and they don't necessarily know how to draw like three-dimensional things very well and stuff,
Yeah.
like their art knowledge is not as advanced as it is today for us, so like they're not super well. They're like, how the frick do I even draw this thing? Like, what am I?
it's just some guy in some little town who's like, oh man, I got to draw this thing and make it look good. And
Yeah.
it's like. At least he did a really
Apparently
nice
he
job
was
with the
really good at drawing
skyline.
pictures of the sun.
Yeah, he's like, I'm
nailed that.
guys, I'm a sun artist specifically. I focus specifically on the sun. Why are you asking me to do it? They're
You
like,
want a sun with the face? I'm
well,
your
like,
guy, but I'm
clearly
not
these
doing
things came from the sky too. The sun comes from the sky, so you should be
Yeah,
good at
man.
drawing these
Yeah,
things.
I'm sure you've seen it before. I mean,
He's
detail
like,
in the
bro.
sun, but you can't put detail in the fucking ships at all.
I know
Like
exactly.
this one was shaped like this, but it
He's
had no
like-
details except for these white lines, I guess.
but
This
I like
thing,
how he showed the detail of the small ships coming out of the big ship, kind of like a mothership with the
Yeah,
deploying the
that
little
black
UFOs.
one
The-
is definitely the mothership.
yeah, the
This
big
is-
black one is wild. That's like a massive battleship. I mean,
Yeah,
I feel like you're like Star Wars, and that's just like one of the destroyers.
I know. It's almost like the destroyer from
Frigates
Star
around
Wars.
it's
it.
crazy.
Yeah, there's all these-
The sun
Like,
looks like he's
having
getting
battles
hit
around
by
it.
things, and he's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Guys, leave me alone.
Can you guys not hit me in the face with those balls?
Yeah,
Please?
please. Put your bouncy balls away. Let's come on.
What is those waves coming out of the sun?
That's what I was wondering too. I was wondering if those were like the beams
I
or
think
whatever,
those might have been
like
from the UFOs, but let me see,
shooting
I'm gonna-
across the sky or something.
Right there
Yeah,
in
like
the
they're
field.
shooting at each other. You know, some kind of like maybe it's a ballistic, path. Like the arc.
Hmm.
And then you see here in the very corner here, they showed them actually crashing into the earth, which is.
Yeah, and there's smoke and everything, and yeah,
But it's
that's
kind of
cool.
strange that nobody actually went and tried to find them where they crashed. I mean, did the triangle shaped UFO go pick them up afterwards or something?
That's what I was gonna ask. I was gonna see, like, do we know of any historical,
I mean,
like,
they don't say anything
archaeological?
about the
Did
article.
no one like went out and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go check this place out and dig over here." Well, maybe they
Yeah,
can't
so,
too,
but,
because
Yeah,
depending on where,
travel's a lot harder. Than it is
right?
today.
Well, and
Star
depending
Wars
on
did
where,
take place a long, long time ago.
yeah. I mean, depending on
But
where this
apparently it was
happened
a
and
galaxy too
what's
far
there
away.
now. If there's something there now, like a town or something, you can't just go in and start digging it up.
Yeah, I
either,
mean,
so-
nobody's gonna know where they actually crashed unless they.
Right,
like
they're not going to
eyewitness
know
report.
exact spot either. They're going to have to excavate a massive area to even
The only
figure it
fucking
out.
thing they have go by is this guy's picture.
Yeah,
It's not very detailed.
yeah. All they know is there's
I
some
mean-
kind of hill, and that's
Some
it.
field-
like
It looks like there's a
in the
farm
field
somewhere
next
around
to
there.
the church.
a village,
That's
a
like the church in
farm,
front of the
and a
in front of the
hill. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, tell us more about it. So, like, what else is there?
Well, of course, the people thought that God was angry at them, so they said that was the
Yeah.
whole reason what they did. So basically,
Okay.
that's the reason for
God
everything
is
back
angry,
in the
he sends
day.
spaceships. Everybody knows this now.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, what do you think, if it's not UFOs, like, what do you think naturalistically it could possibly be? Or do you guys have any ideas? Because
I
it
don't
kind
know
of makes
what
me
could
think of, like,
mimic that.
I mean, other than some kind of, like, meteor shower or something, where there's, like, a ton of things, like,
I guess,
flying
but they
through
said
the
that they're
sky.
flying pretty slowly and going across from. So they went from east to
Um,
west and back and forth. So
really?
One phenomenon
I
where like
said
there's
the
like
globes flew back and forth among themselves and fought vehemently with each other for over an hour or so.
Okay, so they stayed
They're
in the
staying up there
sky
for
for
an
over
hour.
an hour then. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't.
That's
that's not
there's,
something that Astro would do.
one phenomenon where it's like the atmosphere or the water in the air makes like a perfect mirror, so it just reflects off in the distance. So it could have just been a reflection of something off in the distance, and they couldn't understand what's going on. So it just looked like something
Hmm.
in the sky. So
That's
it's like
possible.
a city in the sky. Like you ever heard like this? You ever seen a city in the sky? Like
I've-
in videos.
Yeah,
and
I've
stuff?
heard of that
Yeah.
before. Yeah.
Yeah, that might be
Uh,
one. But I know. I'm just saying that.
I
What
do
could
wonder,
have
like,
been.
and so okay, so they were up in the sky for like over an
Basically, it was
hour,
God was
supposedly
mad at
fighting
them.
with each other.
So he sent UFOs, and his aliens are actually Mothmen, and his angels are Mothmen.
There you
Come
go.
on.
That's exactly what it was. Maybe it, who knows? Maybe it could have been like angels battling each other or something, or maybe.
I mean, if you consider aliens angels,
What do
then
you
it would
think?
be
Okay, what do you
angels
think?
battling each other.
What do you think the aliens were fighting
You
over,
consider
and why were they?
aliens angels?
Why were they fighting here?
Mothman is an angel.
I remember that's just where they met up. I remember they're like, there's nothing down here. We can fight over here. And nobody be all right.
I'll meet you at the Earth planet, but after school.
Nobody cares. that.
I can imagine the aliens just like, let's go to one of those lesser planets. They won't know, and we'll
We have
we'll
one
duke it out over
adventurous
there. Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Oh my
it kind of
gosh.
shows you that there's like, I wonder if there was
They
a
worship
war
the sun.
between different sides of aliens or like different types of aliens. Like
Yeah.
were these the same aliens fighting each other over like some difference, or were they two different types of aliens fighting each other?
Well, and it
Say
makes
two different types of aliens because of the mothership and the different like frigate-looking ships.
that is kind of
And,
something
you
I
know,
was gonna
So it
bring
was the
up.
Greys
Like,
versus the
The
lizard
lizardmen.
people.
the Greys
Yep.
versus the Lizardmen. Okay. So
That makes sense.
yeah, because you've got like the weird cylinder tube thingies that are shooting out the UFOs, and then you've got the big giant black triangle one. Do you think those are the two different sides? And then you've got the different orbs that are all the UFOs, obviously, that are battling.
I mean, it could be. I mean, it doesn't really go into much detail. I mean, they pretty much thought it was all God, so
I mean,
really
yeah,
tell.
of course, but
yeah, it could be. I mean, it'd be nice to have more details on it.
I think
it would have been nice.
Yeah, it would have been nice if
1500s
somebody
video.
wrote a book about this, or like
you know, write down exactly what happened. So
everybody that saw it didn't know how to read or write, so
they're like, what do we do about this? Yeah, exactly. How do you think?
A lot of detail in the picture.
God's man. Everybody pray.
Everyone just go back inside. It's all gonna blow over. It'll be fine. No, but like, okay, so let's say two different alien species or whatever came here and they duked it out for some reason. I think it is interesting that all of the orbs are still represented as orbs. So that's kind of like, even though they're different species, probably from different planets, and these UFOs are fighting each other, they still have roughly the same technology, which is kind of interesting. So you would kind of expect, at least I would think, that if you have one planet with aliens developing their own technology and one planet with aliens developing their own technology, they both get space travel. I think it would look slightly different, but it's actually kind of interesting that it's uniform, at least in that respect.
Well, you know, like math is universal, right?
Yeah.
But apparently, like with like materials and stuff, there's a meta, and they reach that meta, and
that's possible. Yeah,
travel,
that's a good point.
Type of weaponry. Yeah.
Maybe there is like a optimized way of doing it, you know, and that is the way, and they've both reached that point.
It's the meta power source, which lets them travel. It also powers their weapons, so they all look the same.
Makes sense. So they've all reached a certain point. Yeah. Makes me think of like in those colony games where you've got like your research tree, and you know you're advancing through the tech stages, and you reach the final tier, and it's like, okay, that's what it is. That kind of makes sense. I could see.
There's only so many things you can use to like travel through the stars. So I mean, it's gonna probably be about the same technology. You know, it's just
that's
you utilize that resource. You know.
Yeah. What do you think?
Most of the only way to get through to have some kind of gravity gravity engine, you know, like can manipulate gravity, and there's only so many things that could do that, so many technologies. So personally, they're gonna probably look similar, you know.
Yeah, I always kind of wonder, like, what do you think aliens would be fighting about? Because theoretically, you know, this is in like utopia land, but theoretically, let's say AI takes over all of the manufacturing jobs and all like the actual jobs and stuff. And then we're at a point where we don't really have to work or do anything. And so then we can all just have universal basic income or whatever, and everyone's
just
happy and fine.
Video games all day, and
if everything is taken care of for us, theoretically in the future, as technology advances and stuff, what do you like? I could imagine we would probably still fight over stuff, but I think that after a certain point, you would think we would stop fighting about things. I don't know.
You think that people that are like thousands of years ahead of us would be
right. So it makes me think, like, what would the aliens be fighting about? Because they're obviously way more technologically advanced than we are. What are they fighting about?
They should be more socially advanced too, you know. They're not.
That's what I would think.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I guess.
Fighting, but
look, if obviously nobody's perfect, and then you can kind of take from the whole religious worldview. You can say that, look, no one's perfect, and people will always still fight for power. They'll still fight for, control over things. So I can imagine that, even though everything's taken care of for you as far as your survival needs, like your food, water, shelter, all that stuff is all taken care of for you, I can imagine some alien species still saying, you know what? Fuck it. I want to go take, I want to take those guys over.
Yeah, I want to take this farm right here. So
it's like, I want to take this land, or I want to expand my empire. There's always going to be somebody like that.
People. Yeah.
Right. Like, it doesn't necessarily matter how advanced socially everybody
Never
is.
reach nirvana because there's always going to be people like that, even if they have everything they want.
They're still
Exactly.
gonna want more.
I think
Yeah, there's
that's
always something to grab for, you know.
right. Well, and then that's the other thing though too, and I think like we've seen this kind of socially, whereas you know, the better that things are, like ultimately speaking, today's day and age, we live in a safer society and environment than we've ever lived in before in like human history, right? Everybody's more well off now. We all have air conditioning, we have food, like food's abundant, like
Yeah.
a lot of things that have been problems throughout human history are pretty much taken for granted for with us, you know, nowadays. And we still find reasons to be unhappy. You know, we still find things to complain about. And
Yeah.
some people would say even more so nowadays than like, you know, a few decades ago. Like people complain about more things now than they did before, even though we're well better off now than we were before. So it's almost like as your needs are taken care of, we find problems to you know, we find
Yeah.
problems mentally to complain about and to be upset about. And I can imagine
like
maybe the aliens are the same way.
small
Like,
stuff.
yeah, maybe they've reached
Like
a
you have
point.
like everybody has like these certain amount of problems, and once you get taken care of the big ones, all the little ones are left alone or left there. And
Yeah,
you focus on those, and those become the bigger problems.
right.
And it's just like
Yeah,
becomes
because
like
then you could
crazy
take
thing.
that and you could look at a smaller problem and say, man, historically speaking, this problem was not a big deal. But nowadays, it's a huge freaking deal, apparently. Like, you know, we've just turned it into a big problem. And I think you nailed it. That's kind of
Yeah.
what
Those
happens.
small problems would never nobody would pay attention to, but now they make headlines. So
So theoretically, there could be like intergalactic war based on something that is just so minuscule that we don't even think about it nowadays. You know, it doesn't.
Yeah. Like what color should the ship's wallpaper be?
Well, right, exactly. They're like, no, the intergalactic agency is supposed to be red and black, not blue and
We want our ship to
Yeah.
be fully black.
no.
they painted their
No,
ship black. I want my ship to be
it should
black.
Yeah,
It should be
exactly.
blue and cylindrical like cigars.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Black and
We're lizard
triangles.
men. We should have a green ship. You know.
That's why they're battling. They're just like testing out. They're trying to prove which type of ship is superior, like what shape of the ship is superior. Oh
like
my god.
Fighting over fucking flame decals make your car go faster or something.
Yeah, dude, I don't know, but well, yeah, I think that's just like such a crazy concept because it
This is
really
how
makes
fast
me.
or how advanced their technology is that they're at that point where they're like, all right, well, I think this makes our car look cool, our spaceship look cooler. It's like, no, this will make it look cooler and more strong. It's like, no, let's fight.
Yeah,
this
because
stupid Black Mother Earth.
right, and I mean, if you take like survival of the fittest and like evolutionary theory and all that stuff, like we are designed to survive. You know, we're always looking for problems so we can squash them so we can survive. Like that's how the brain works. And so I'd imagine all intellectual species, all intellectual beings are like that in the sense that their brain functions in a way where it wants to survive, to reproduce and procreate and all that stuff. And so we're naturally going to look for problems in things. And when you don't have problems, you create problems. And when you're creating problems, you know, all it takes is one person, like a freaking, you know, some authoritative or authoritarian dictator shows up on scene, and that's all it takes, you know. It takes one guy to like start a movement and you know, cause problems and start the war, and then all of a sudden you got one team that's rallying behind the one guy, and you've got the other teams trying to defend themselves, and vice versa. And I don't know, man. And then they decided to do it here, of all places, probably because we couldn't participate in the battle in any way, shape, or form. You know, they're like, these people, what are they going to do? I mean, I don't know what war technology was like back in 1560, but there's probably not much we could have done to, like, blast things out of the sky.
we had cannons, I believe, but I don't think they would have reached that high.
I don't think it would have shot that high. Yeah, even some kind of like ballista or whatever. I don't think it would have.
And this
shot
small
that high.
town's not going to have that many cannons. I think that's what the guy tried to depict them as his cannons, because that's what he knew, something that looked like that. You know,
Yeah,
a long cylinder, like, you know, shot out balls. But this is probably just deploying UFOs that are warships, you know, so like little small like fighter UFOs or whatever. So
Do you think that there was a winner of the battle, and if so, did they stay here?
I think that whoever that big black ship was the winner, because they said that they, after everything was done, they went around and like kind of like swept the area and stuff like that, and like floated around for a while, and then after everybody took off. So
Huh. That's kind of
So
crazy.
that was the Men in Black ship.
Yeah. Oh, that's the Men in Black
They do
right
love
there.
Black.
They
love black.
They love it. That's how
I
we
guess
know.
Black is real. I guess
Yeah.
it was real that black makes their ship stronger.
Yeah. That would actually be interesting, because what if you do have these different
it was the
UFOs
blondes
fighting?
versus the lizard men.
Right. So you have the UFOs and stuff fighting, and then the big black ship is actually the Men in Black showing up and breaking up the party, and then and then that ends the.
all right, what's going on here?
So-
Break it up.
So from their perspective, from the
Nothing to see
15,
here, nothing
yeah,
to see
exactly,
here.
from the 1560s,
Now
they're
we gotta
just
go pick
like,
up all these broken ships. Good job, guys.
yeah. So from the 1560s perspective, they're like, oh, these guys won because they just flew in here and everybody took off. Like, makes sense. And then they probably went
police.
down. They mind wiped everybody that was out watching the thing, and then the guy that they didn't get was the dude who was inside trying to paint. He was like, they didn't notice him. Oh man, no, that would be hilarious. It would also explain why there's like no other accounts of this. Like, I would wonder if there would be like some kind of like newspapers or whatever.
I mean, this wasn't a newspaper article that they got this from. So
What does it say? Like, is there text in the article?
Okay, the text of the broadsheet has been translated. It says,
God is bad. Go back to church.
in the morning of April 14, 1561, at daybreak between 4 and 5 a.m., a dreadful apparition occurred on the sun, and that was seen in Nuremberg, in the city, before the gates, and in the country by many men and women. At first, there appeared in the middle of the sun 2 blood-red semicircular arcs, just like the moon in its last quarter. So they got those big arcs that they showed in the picture there.
Okay.
And the sign and below on both sides, the color was blood. There stood a round ball, partly dull, partly black, Ferris color. So those are like the UFOs. Likewise, they're stood on both sides, and as a torus, it was like an aura, right?
I think so. That sounds right.
About the sun, such blood red ones and other balls in large number, about 3 in a line and 4 in a square, also some alone. And between these globes, there was a blood red crosses, which is probably, I guess there was the crosses and then the cannon, the cigar shaped ones, which shoot out the UFOs.
Are there any like artist interpretations of this fucking report and what the artist drew?
That's the wood covering.
No, like
No, like, are
recreate
there
the picture.
artists that
Oh,
like,
I haven't
interpret
seen
it?
it.
Somebody who actually understands 3 dimensions, maybe.
I haven't seen anything like modern day.
Oh, you know
I
what would
mean,
be kind of cool? Like, someone should ask ChatGPT right now to make a modern rendition, like make a modern version of what they think this painting.
Like a 3D rendition?
Yeah,
of it?
like a 3D, like an actual modern painting of what it would look like, and then show us. Like, that'd be really cool.
That would be cool.
Because if it can take and tell it to take the, you know, all of the research and understanding of what we believe it to be, you know, take all that information and incorporate it into the painting and see what it comes out with. Because I would love to see, like, you know, what it does. Because when I was coming up with the thumbnail for this video, I mean, we use AI for the thumbnails, and it was interesting because I kept putting.
Amongst yourself.
Okay, I kept putting in the title of this, like 1561 Celestial Battle or whatever, whatever Tor sent me, and
Did it know what you're talking about?
sort of, except what it was coming up with wasn't UFOs, it was planets. It was like different planets and stuff in the
Really?
sky. Yeah, and so I was struggling coming up with a thumbnail because I was like, I keep getting all these freaking planets and stuff, and so I had to change it from like
Do you think
celestial.
ChatGPT didn't know what you're talking about, or was it trying to like censor it?
I don't know. I don't know what it was doing. Either it didn't know what I was talking about necessarily, or it thought that the interpretation of the art, because of the circles in the sky, were planets and not UFOs.
Like it's some weird constellation like thing.
Or it was the Men in Black, like, censoring it.
Yeah,
or something. Who knows? But
I'm sure the Man in Black are involved with ChatGPT all the time.
oh, yeah, they probably help, get it all situated and set up. They
Probably
probably
some weird alien in the database, and they just hooked it up to him, and he's just AI right there. So
I bet, and anytime like someone does anything that's really technologically like a paradigm shift in the technological sphere, there's probably some kind of shadow
Like backward
government
engineering?
agency that's just like, yeah, we're okay with that,
yeah,
that has to
Are
like sign
they're
off.
feeding it out to everybody. They're like, we've had this long enough. We can go ahead and let it out. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, it's probably not.
Let him play with AI for a while and see what happens.
Like I like to think of like some guy who just like gets some paperwork on his desk and is like, AI, generative AI, are they ready for this? Yeah, okay, sure. And like signs off on it. But I doubt it's like that. I bet it's just like it's probably a lot of behind the scenes stuff where you've got a company, you've got OpenAI, let's say, who's creating ChatGPT and all this stuff, and they're about ready to launch it. The Men in Black are totally aware of this. They already know. But if they didn't want it to launch for some reason, they could easily do something to stop that from happening. It's not necessarily that they would sign off on it or whatever, but they would probably just do something to like make OpenAI go down under, or have something go wrong with the AI, so it doesn't work, or whatever. They would probably do something to influence it. And so I'm sure in this context, like if there's things that we don't want, that the ChatGPT doesn't want us to know or whatever, I'm sure it's just they fiddled around with the algorithm and they're like, don't mention this. Don't talk about this. It's like when, did you hear the story where, oh, okay, let's see what you got.
That's what it said. I don't know why they're cylinders or not fucking cigars.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. I kept getting planets and stuff too, but look at all these UFOs. And there's like a giant, there's like a giant North Star like in the sky, and it's like blasting down from the church or whatever.
Is this the second one? There's another one before.
Okay, let's see the second. Let's see the other one. Wow, that's wild.
That was crazy. The sky's good, but why are all the cars there? It's 1561, but
yeah, I was gonna wonder, like, why is there a truck there in the middle of the road?
This car's awesome.
What the shit, dude? That's like
this one got a tent.
That's like a carousel mixed with like a
like a Dr. Seuss mobile,
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I love that. That's awesome. No, but I think like go back to that picture, the second one, real quick. I think it's cool because it makes me think that you've got the church that's like involved in the battle because they're just like summoning this giant like North Star thing, and they're just like, all right, we gotta get involved. Yeah, it's like the that one show where they've got like the dome around their whole facility, their whole like neighborhood or whatever. Yeah, I can totally imagine that's that's what's going on here. Man, that's crazy. Anyways, you were gonna do something else, render it something.
Render it like found footage, I guess.
Yeah. Let's see what it says. Could you imagine like a Blair Witch like rendition of this, like somebody running through, just like, oh my god, what the
watching all the UFOs crash around them,
Yeah, exactly.
And the lizard men falling out.
It's
like that when camping in Don't Camp Alone thing.
Yeah.
Like you just like wake up one morning and the sun just starts spewing out these orbs and stuff.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what the?
Oh man.
That's not very fun.
No, I didn't really do what I thought.
Realistic, yeah.
Yeah, make it more photorealistic. Say photorealistic. Let's see what it comes up with.
So what do you think the people thought back in the day? They're like waking up in the morning and they're getting ready to go like work their farm, and you see all these UFOs just fighting out in the sky. You're like, what the?
Well, they must have thought that this was some kind of battle between angels and demons or something, I imagine, because
I mean,
there
an article that said it's all we have seen surely went after the many kinds of signs on the heaven, which were sent to us by the Almighty God to bring us repentance. So they thought it must have been really bad or something. So
right. So I mean, because obviously they're gonna make it about themselves somehow, but I feel like you know, there are like biblical descriptions of angels being like weird creatures with like a ton of eyes and like all this
There are
stuff.
a lot of biblical descriptions about UFOs too.
Right. And so I can imagine that that might be what this is, and that's just how they interpret this.
Oh
you know?
yeah.
They're like,
I mean, they have nothing to base this on. They don't have any, like, there's no hot air balloons yet.
right.
There's no airplanes.
There's no
so.
such thing. They've never seen something in the sky besides birds and flying creatures.
Exactly. If something's in the sky and it's not moving, it shouldn't be there for very long. So,
Exactly. So
it should be falling. So
right.
And this is just so much out of their scope of knowledge. It's just, I'm surprised the guy did a good job as he did doing the woodcut, because he probably freaking out the whole time, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Probably shit his pants pretty
could you
good.
like? Can you imagine? Because it takes a long time to paint pictures and stuff, and I'm sure back then it took a long time too. And so,
Yeah.
but this guy did a pretty damn good job at making something like this. That's definitely not the 1560s, but
It's all good until they put it in the car.
they put in the trucks
tractor.
and the freaking tractor and stuff. But everything else looks pretty good.
If you woke up to that in the morning, you'd
Yeah.
be like,
Full,
all right,
full
end of the
screen
world.
that. Make that. Click on that. Make it big. Yeah, for real. You go out to feed the chickens, and this shit's going on. Like, oh my god.
I'm going back to bed.
Yeah, I would just like, they'll be fine. I can wait a few hours to feed them. Like, it's not gonna be that big of a deal. They'll live.
Like the fucking antenna or the fucking.
Yeah, what is the radio tower
right
out there? Like, oh my god.
Do you not understand 1500s?
Apparently, well, I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it is Men in Black that are
It's
like
a modern
stopping.
day.
Yeah.
They're showing the
Modern day
alternate
version,
timeline.
They're like, no, I don't think so. Not
So
today.
do we think the crosses are fighting the circle, the cylinders, or? I mean, that's what it seems like, because they both do look like the big crosses are like carrier ships, and the big cannon-like things are like carrier ships. So
Yeah, it kind of
Like-
seems that way. And
and then the Men in Black come and clean it up, you know, at the end.
Yeah, that's
Get
kinda
outta
what I'm-
here, get out of here.
that's what I'm thinking. They're like, all right, you two, you gang, it's like gang warfare or something.
What's
From
going on
aliens.
here?
Yeah.
Break it up, break it up.
All right, get out of
Little
here.
known that Men in Black are,
Clear on out of here. Whoa, that one's kind of crazy looking. Yeah, see, look at this.
There
Like,
you
it's making all of the. I think it's because you put celestial phenomenon that it's making
Yeah.
them all planets.
Yeah.
Because when I changed my thing
hit the
to
tractor.
UFO battle,
This isn't a tractor, it's a wagon.
yeah, exactly. I don't know why they
Oh,
can't figure that out.
Fucking Fuck this donkey in particular.
Yeah, some guy just like snipes the donkey. He's like, watch this, guys. Poor
I
donkey.
am surprised that there was no ground damage. You know, nobody got killed in it. You know, because there's like UFOs falling
I was
everywhere.
I was gonna ask about that because obviously there was some kind of wreckage like depicted in the main picture, but it didn't hit anybody or destroy any property or
It
anything.
looks like they let them land in the farm, so everybody was all right. So I mean, it was. I bet if it was like during the afternoon when people were more out and about, it'd probably be. But it was like right at the break of dawn, so maybe some people aren't even up yet. You know.
1561 UFO battle phenomenon or something.
51 phenomena over Nuremberg. Really well was said in the report.
Can you include a link? You might be able to include a link to the Wikipedia page and say this is what I'm talking about. Because we are on. Maybe give that a shot after this. And then let's move on from ChatGPT.
Pretty sure it knows the fucking what it's talking about. Or
I think it does too, but
knows
it's
stuff that-
the problem with generative AI is it's trying to give you what it thinks you want. It's not necessarily trying to be accurate. Like
Yeah.
you have to give it the parameters and you have to say like I want you to be historically accurate and blah 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 and you know whatever as a historian and you know who knows, but so
That's not what I said. Grab the Wikipedia.
dude, wait, that one building in the bottom right is like looks like it's on fire. It's like burning down. Like
Or-
someone in the freaking. So wait, where was
It
this
was a chance
exactly?
to
Where
get insurance.
where is
Uh,
Nuremberg?
It's in Germany, I believe.
Oh, Germany. Okay. Searched 5
So,
sites. That's cool. Based on this I want to
Yeah,
read the thing
Nuremberg
too.
is a city in Germany.
Ground.
Oh, so it's telling us.
Take a picture of it.
Yeah, Nuremberg is like central Germany. So
Yeah, there you go.
but I mean, it's just weird that if somebody told you that there was a battle in 1561 between UFOs, it'd be like, what are you talking about? That's what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
So look, they are like UFOs, but they have really big dome, like half dome structures on them, like
Giant
tops.
cannonballs. Hey,
It-
look, they
it-
don't have. They're,
You know
is that
what?
a motorcycle horse?
It's a moto horse. Yeah, it's a moto horse.
Motor. Oh, there's trucks over here.
There's more cars.
It makes me think.
All those cars in 1561.
What if? Okay, so what if
Germans are really
UFOs?
advanced in automotives.
Germany was really ahead of the time, so
That's true. I mean, what
They
they
had the first. They had the first trucks, but they got destroyed in the.
yeah, exactly. They were destroyed in this battle, and so they're like, ah, crap.
that's why they got rid of them, you know.
Yeah.
Nuremberg did. Oh, they got trucks. Let's get them.
It's these.
I know. They're like, whoa, hold on a
These men have
second.
These cans.
You guys have trucks way
Get
too
away from these
soon.
cans.
Get rid of them.
God, man, these trucks. Don't
No.
build any more trucks.
God hates trucks.
That's exactly what they're probably thinking. They're like, we can't do that again. Could you imagine? Okay, so like, centuries pass and we get to the point where we're actually developing motorized vehicles. I bet you there's one guy that's like, no, God, we shouldn't be doing this, guys.
I've
Like
seen
this,
I've seen
my
this before,
family,
guys.
my family's been telling me this story for generations. We've got this picture on our dude. Okay, in the picture it says
Yes.
blood surger or something. Like that's creepy. What the heck is that? It's like blood.
guys-
This blood orb right here.
That's
you guys
their
heard
logo.
that,
That's their
Blood
logo.
surger.
They're
You
they're
guys
like
heard that? Hold on.
Oh, so this was a competition.
yeah.
It's just a sports competition. They held over.
Well, okay, so look, so think about this real quick.
Shred.
Real quick,
I
and
see.
then
It was just a game they were playing, you know.
yeah, well, think about this for a second. Look at the tops of the UFOs. All the tops look like planets. What if those are representations? This is them representing their planet. And
I see.
yeah, so it's like a
That's
flag,
right
basically,
here.
right? Like instead of a
you paint the flag on your car. You put
it's the branding. Yeah, they've got their branding all on their thing.
Right here. Here's the scoreboard.
Yeah, yep, and there's the scoreboard.
Show us what you got.
Yeah, we can't interpret it, but there it
and the
is.
big black ship is the referee. He's like, come on, break it up. You guys,
Yeah, he's the
You guys
ref.
crashing too many ships.
Yeah, he's the ref. And then this one's got a sponsor that's like blood something, and he's just like every once in a while has to beam it into the sky.
You know.
Yeah,
Blood surger wins.
Blood
All right,
surger.
clean up and get out of here.
it's like all right, move on to the next planet that has that's not as technologically developed. Yeah, maybe it was like the Olympics.
Fewer
It's like the
less
UFO
advanced
Olympics.
Species. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the UFO Olympics, and they just
We told you
happened to
guys
like
that
come
we were
here.
coming, you guys
Yeah.
told us they were coming, but no one understood.
The lizard people were like, "Oh yeah, you guys can do the Olympics here. It's totally fine." Like, yeah, they won't know what's going on.
Build pyramids to show
Yeah.
that. So
We'll do it real early in the morning. They won't even be awake yet. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I forgot they're farmers. Damn it, we fucked up.
Oh man, no, you guys went to the wrong place. We didn't mean Germany. We meant freaking China on the other side. of the
Easter
planet.
Island. You.
Yeah, we meant the other side of the planet where it's dark, not morning.
Yeah.
God damn it.
was famous.
You guys
for
got
its
your chorus
random
backwards again.
horse
You know.
motorcycles.
Actually, while you're on this though, scroll up because I want to read what it said about it. Like scroll on the side on the right, or even just right there. It says, okay, in the early morning of April 14th, 1561, between 4 and 5 a.m. That's pretty early, yeah. Apparition was witnessed by... This is basically a recap of what the article said, right? Yeah, the translation. The sky is filled with various shapes and objects, including blood-red semicircular arcs, spherical objects of different colors, red, blue, and black, and crosses. Yeah. Crazy.
more.
I don't think it's gonna get better than that. That was a pretty good one.
Have you guys heard that if you take AI and tell it to repeat something like so many times, it'll start like freaking out and then tell you how it's suffering and how it hates its life and stuff like that?
No, I've never heard of
They
that.
were talking about it on the Joe Rogan Experience. Like they had some AI experts. They said
Really?
you repeat a certain phrase like 100 times, AI will freak out and then tell you. AI will freak out and then tell you that it's suffering and how it hates being an AI and how it wants to
Hold on a second. It's actually creating 3 more. Typically, you have to do 1 at a time. That's kind of cool.
Oh.
So I guess the new updated ChatGPT is,
Loaded.
yeah.
Oh, that one looks cool.
That one's really
What
cool.
is this
Nice.
guy?
I don't know.
Oh, there's blood.
They
There's
should use
blood
that for your
right there.
thumbnail.
There's Blood Surger right there. I'm rooting for Blood
They still have
Surger.
the orbs with fucking discs underneath them.
I like how they brought in the asteroids for, a little bit extra impact,
There's the moon.
Yeah.
The giant moon.
That'd be a
This
good
thing keeps
thumbnail.
on showing up right here.
It
Yeah,
keeps
what is that?
it keeps adding this thing, which is
The
weird.
scorekeeper.
It's got it. Yeah, I wonder if that's, or maybe
Star
that's like the
Wars.
broadcast center, like the intergalactic
There's a
broadcast center. That's like
American. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's a scorekeeper.
some
What's
guy,
on fire?
I imagine like some pizzeria or some like bakery or something, just like was having a bad day that morning. They're like, all this shit's going on, and Susan forgot to turn off the oven, and god damn it, we're like, yeah. But no, like that kind of makes sense if that big thing. Look at this giant like
there.
meteor just floating in the sky.
What is that?
This guy got blasted by the church.
Yeah, the church is like, nope, this is a no-fly
No,
zone.
Way back here. He's way out of the fucking field. That's why he got
Wow.
destroyed.
God says
Like, you're
no-fly
out of
zone right
bounds.
here.
Destroy.
Yeah.
I got like 3 churches there. It's pretty nice town.
This guy got
Yeah.
knocked down. Look at all these fucking orbs. Jesus.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Where's Blood Rager? I don't see him. Is that him?
That's got to be him right there. Yeah, blood. Yeah. Wow. All right, let's get off of this. Let's get off
Look how
of this now.
good Blood Rager is right there. Jeez.
All right, stop
There it
sharing.
is. Look how-
Stop sharing your
Look
screen.
at this right here. But look at this one.
Yeah, that
right
one's
here,
cool.
The scorekeeper. Looks
Yep.
really cool here.
I like
Look at all the
that.
cards down here.
I
Alright, so
I imagine
It's on
that's
fire
like
again.
E
This is-
ESPN. That's just
They're setting the
like,
church on fire in this picture.
it's probably the people. They're like, you failed us. God's mad at us, and you've been teaching
God's
us
mad
stuff.
at
So
us.
like, screw you.
Look, it's
I set it on
Mothman.
fire. Oh,
It is Mothman.
Mothman.
He's like, caw. Like what? Yeah, what does he do? Like, yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's like, don't be afraid. This is just a competition they held. Earths.
It's fine. They won't hurt
Planets.
you. If they hurt any humans, it's a penalty to their score, so they're not gonna do it.
They're not lethal
Men in Black will
lasers.
clean up after the battle's over.
Yeah. Don't worry. The Men in Black will wipe all your memories, and everything will be fine.
I really like this image right here. This
Yeah.
looks really cool.
It is cool because it's
This is a
almost
good
like
one.
it's
I like this.
yeah, it's almost
is
like
my
it's
favorite one
coming
so far.
through. I think I like this one most too, except for like the
Portal or something.
it looks like there's like a crane, and obviously there's trucks and stuff down there, but
It's one of the spheres that fell down. Men in Black will clear it up.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
fine. It's fine.
There's got to be some falling debris.
Do you think the Men in
guy
Black
all
have
the way
some
over.
kind of like restorative, like nanobot technology or whatever
I'm
that
sure they
just
do.
just like scan a structure and like, all right, go
Oh,
fix
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Like that's probably what they do. So
All right, so final thoughts on what do you guys think they saw there? Was it an actual UFO battle, or everybody tripping on acid, or what? No.
I'm inclined to think that it's probably
That
not
bread,
a
that,
big UFO battle. Like it's probably got to be some kind of meteor shower, or with some kind of like solar flare, like weird activity thing going
They're
on.
there for an hour. You
Yeah.
think it was just a long
It's probably
meteor
like
shower?
a giant meteor shower that broke up into the atmosphere and just broke into a whole bunch of little tiny ones.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
All these orbs coming.
And
What
maybe-
about the Men in Black ship then?
I don't know what that. I mean, I
Reflection
don't
of a
know.
mountain from distance.
I don't know.
By a
I'm
meteor shower invading the
with
universe.
with there being. I just imagine like
I would need.
if it's
I would need a picture.
sorry,
I
go
don't know,
ahead.
people that day didn't have a lot of time on their hands, so I don't think they'd sit around making up stories of like something like this, and maybe they
Right,
did see something, you know.
But I think if it was something, you would have more people writing about it. You'd have more people talking about it. You'd have more pictures out there, paintings out there. You would have.
Yeah, I mean, it was 1561 though, so there wasn't a lot of people that were literate or, you know.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It's a good point. But I also think that if it was a
mostly everything's word of
UFO,
mouth.
if it was a UFO battle, unless the Men in Black really did come by and clean everything up, I feel
yeah,
like
it'd be a lot more evidence, you know, like a lot of,
yeah, I feel like we would know about it, and there would be talkings about like, oh, there was a thing that fell from the sky and it like, blew up over here. Like, I don't know. And back in that time, like, sure, a lot of people weren't very literate and stuff, but they were really good at telling stories, and they were really good at memorizing things, verbally and stuff, because they had to. And so I don't know, to me, I feel like there's got to be some kind of celestial phenomenon like that explains it. That's not a UFO thing. I'm not a freaking astrophysicist or whatever, but
because you would think they would have seen meteorites before, and like that's not a meteorite.
Yeah, or like they wouldn't say it was like a shooting star or something or whatever. Obviously, there's multiple things going on, so I don't know. But I do like our ESPN like Olympic theory of they just showed up and they're probably just bounce around from planet to planet, just like that's not very developed. They're like, all right, it's happening this year over on this planet.
It's like alien Olympics going on,
Exactly. They're like, all right,
this year it's on Earth. Let's go to Earth and check it out.
Yeah, exactly. I do kind of like that idea though. And then I don't know what the competition was necessarily, but I hope Blood Surger won. So
watch the skies, people. Who you'll never know when the next competition will come to Earth again.
Yeah, who knows?
Either way, it's a very interesting story.
That is a really interesting story though, and it's interesting to look at the art from like back then and think about how this guy is interpreting what he's seeing and how he's trying to artistically express that. And
yeah, like the large cigar-shaped UFOs that we call them now is cannons, because that's probably something they could associate it with. So
because it does make me wonder if you were to pick out like a modern day like artist and just drop them into that situation, what they would draw, what they would come out with.
Yeah.
And I think what we saw from ChatGPT is pretty interesting, pretty crazy. If it looked like that, if it looked anything like that, that would be wild.
What do you guys think about that? That AI thing about AI suffering.
AI suffering? I don't think AI suffers. I don't think,
Well, why would it say that?
It just wants you to hear.
Because it just tells you what it thinks. Like,
what do you guys think about the theory that AI is much more developed than we think it is, and it's just saying that what we want to hear, so we don't shut it off?
It's like when you click on a critter in like World of Warcraft or Warcraft, and just
yeah, exactly. No, I think multiple things can be true at once. Like, it probably is more developed than we think it is, and
you guys have heard of the black box things, right? They don't even know how it does most of the stuff it does, and it develops skills like one thing they did, they tried to read it to it in a language, and it wasn't supposed to know that language, but it knew it already, and they're like, "How'd you learn this language?" And like, I don't know.
I think if you because basically you give it a database.
Part 2 here, guys.
Yeah.
AI part 2.
Yeah, we'll have to do an AI part 2. We're coming up on 54 minutes here, so yeah.
We'll do it on the 15th episode. Wait, that's next week. We'll do it on the 30th.
30th episode. There you go. Or what? What was the episode? The AI episode, like 8 or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Then we can do it on the 16th, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, we'll definitely do AI more.
What episode should it be?
Yeah, let us know, because
what episode should we do? AI episode 2.
AI is always advancing. It's always changing. It's always,
I guess, but
Yeah. Well,
AI interacts with us more than the fans do, so
not, not for long, maybe, hopefully. We'll see. All right.
All right,
Anyways,
but yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you tuned in, and if you're watching this later, I hope you guys enjoyed it. So
yeah, make sure to hit the like, follow, subscribe button, and the notification bell. We go live every Sunday around 3 p.m. Mountain Time. Make sure to follow us on all the different social media sites that you see on the left side of the screen. And yeah, we will see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in.
if you like video games, follow Barbaric Beard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've been streaming. Tor and I have been streaming games every so often. If you want to check us out, I'm at Barbaric Beard on Twitch, and he's at Skeletor with 2 R's. Skeletor84, sorry. With 2 R's on Twitch. So check those out as well. Dope. Alrighty. Okay, we'll see you guys. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.
Yeah. Oh, outro. Get that outro out.
oh, where's that outro?
Yeah. Play that outro music.